Mexican records got the lights down low. Souldisco where the groovy people go. Hit play, let the music flow. Old school beats with a modern glow. Oh.
Hello everybody and a very warm welcome back to the latest episode of Hidden Jewels of Soul and Disco. I do hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Today we're going to feature an artist which is highly underrated despite of contributing many samples for future generations to come. Today we are featuring Lowrell Simon.
To let you hang yourself, baby, and you win and did. I said all I did was give you the rope. Just can't seem to help myself, baby. You get me out of breath. And love is a pleasure when love is smooth and wild.
Lowrell Simon was born on March the 18th in 1943 in Chicago. And he had his first professional musical steps with the group the La Vondells, which later became the Vondells. And they had a regional hit in 1964 with the song Leonore. Later on the group split up, but Lowrell founded yet another group who became a legendary and also a cult group later on in the 70s. He founded the group The Lost Generation. We will be featuring this group in a future episode of Hidden Jewels of Soul and Disco. In autumn of 1974, The Lost Generation released a single which was called If You Decide to Accept It Part 1. This single release meant to be the end of the Lost Generation because they disbanded after its release. But Lowrell continued to work for Cartoon Records and wrote material for the soundtrack of Three the Hard Way, which was sung by The Impressions, a blaxploitation movie I highly recommend watching. In 1976, he wrote the song Keep On Playing the Music for the debut album of Mystique, which featured former members of the Lost Generation. In the late 70s, Lowrell signed with RV Records label and released his debut album, unfortunately also his last album. And here it is in all of its 70s glory. The good news is, if you want to have an original copy of this album, and I highly recommend this album, it's out there and it's available. You find decent copies between $50 to $70. In comparison with other soul albums, disco funk albums from that era is still a cheap find. And I highly, once again, recommend this album. This album featured the single Mellow, Right On, which was released in various combinations with other songs throughout late 1979 and early 1980. I also want to point out that in 1979, he wrote a song all about the papers for the great Lolita Holloway, which later on became a house classic. In 1981, he released his last single, which was called Love Message on the Zoo York Records label. Unfortunately, these are his final footsteps he left in the music business, and unfortunately, he also passed away in 2018. Mellow has been sampled countless times by many artists from different genres. So once again, a testament that good music never gets out of fashion. So once again, check out Lowrell Simon and all of his works. Also the material from Three the Hard Ways. It's a great, great movie and a great, great soundtrack sung by the Impressions. If you like that episode, I highly suggest that you also check out the playlist appearing here, and I catch you on the next one.